Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next of our PA Forum sessions. We've already had this lovely lady on, our very, very first one. It was great that we had so much engagement, but we've got a very exciting week for Aimee Browne from the Mindful Assistant as she celebrates her first year anniversary with us and has come so far in a year, and she's got some exciting developments such as the Mindful Assistant Academy, which sounds very exciting, and we are looking forward to hearing from Aimee. If you have got any questions as we go along, please pop them into the chat box and I'll make sure that we can go over those, and there will be a free Q&A at the end of the session as well. So welcome, Aimee. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for turning up. It's so lovely to see all of your faces. And Tracy, particularly loving the headsets there. Madonna, love it. So yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all taking the time out to come and hear what I've got to talk about. So yeah, Dan and I were talking about my launch and like what I've got going on right now, and we thought it might be useful or helpful if you've ever had thoughts about like running your own business or taking like where do I go next in my career, what that might look like for you. So obviously in the current climate it's really made us question what our normal was, and it's given us the opportunity to slow down a little bit, or our job has taken a little bit our job has changed, our role has changed, where we're working from home now, or we're enjoying the flexibility of working at home, or not. Or people sadly are losing their positions. And so I kind of just thought it'd be really interesting to talk through what the last year has looked like for me, and if you know it's something that you wanted to look into yourself, that this could really help you. Because I think assistants are amazing, and I think, you know, I was just saying to Dan just before this call that we are one of the many, one of the only professions that cut across all of the different departments within a business. We have that touch points, we have those experience, we learn so much, and all of that experience and all of that skill set is stuff that you can have and you know use in your own business. And I don't think sometimes assistants stand in their power and realize how freaking amazing you are. And from me and what I see in like being in the online space, people absolutely love assistants. They love the skill set that they've got, and it's almost always the thing that they are lacking. They've got this zone of genius in something else, but they need an amazing assistant to support them in order for them to grow. And that's where the opportunity that I have saw. So yes, I think you're wonderful. I'm really passionate about the assistant industry, and so I kind of want to just talk about where it all started. And if you don't know my story, I'll keep it brief because it has been plastered over the internet for about a year now, or some of you may have come to my speaking events, I don't know, so I'll keep it super brief. But like most assistants, I have always been like really driven. I'm a recovering perfectionist now, a bit of control freak. But a lot of those traits are what make us really amazing at our jobs, and it's those that high self expectations really pushed me over the edge. And I'd never had a day sick in my life, and I didn't know what the symptoms of like anxiety or panic attack, like none of that. I had no idea what that was, and I got really ill. And one day I was at work, and then the next minute I was at the doctor's and being told that no, actually you've got really severe anxiety. You just need to take 2 weeks. It told me I need to take 2 weeks out, and it ended up being 3 months. Because as soon as I stopped, you know, I had insomnia. My thoughts were just racing. I couldn't breathe. I had panic attacks. I had so many physical symptoms from how much I just pushed and pushed and pushed. and not even just like loads of symptoms mentally, but physically I couldn't breathe, and it was just a really horrendous time. I totally pushed myself to the edge. And particularly last year, so that burnout was probably about 2 years ago, but then at the beginning of last year I got really bad depression, and it just kind of come out of nowhere, and it was just in bed, like crippled with sadness, literally, where to the point it physically hurt, and I just didn't want to be here anymore. And that was a really difficult time. My friends and family had to kind of intervene to get me help and get me therapy and get me out of that space. But when I did, it was like literally I just saw my life through a different lens, and all of the fears, or just, I don't know, I just felt so different and liberated, and thought, do you know what, nothing can be that bad. And I realised that all of the simple and the small things were now really clear to me, and that living my life through my job and for my job was, you know, there's more to life than that. I needed more for myself and my family, and I could take simple pleasures from just walking down the street instead of rushing around like a mad woman, and just really just learned to slow down. And I just thought, I found it really difficult to talk about my feelings at that point, like being vulnerable, or just accepting that I felt like that. And I think because we work quite often just on our own, it was hard. Like, I didn't want to tell my line manager how I felt. I didn't want to tell the people in the department I was in, because it felt like a weakness, and we're supposed to be the ones that have it all together. So that was why I started the Mindful Assistant blog, was because I thought, if I'm feeling like this, I don't want other assistants to feel like this too, because I felt like our traits kind of drive some of this behaviour, and also that you would be feeling the same way, in that if you had these symptoms, you probably wouldn't want to talk about them because you would view it as a weakness. And also show that, you know what, you can still be really successful in your job and have mental health issues. That is okay. Because what I have learned is that, you know what, everyone's a little bit mental. Everyone's a little bit mental. Everyone has these worries. Everyone has anxieties. Everybody has these fears, but we just don't talk about them. So I thought, do you know what, if I talk about how I felt, like really honestly, and I work as the exec assistant to the CEO and the board of The Works, the high street retailer. I'm the only assistant there. There's about nine of them. So I can still work at that level and have had these issues. That's okay. You know, it doesn't make me weak. It doesn't make me crap at my job and all that type of thing. It's possible. So I started this blog, and it was a year ago on Monday. And literally, what is the strapline was, you know, you're taking care of your execs, you're taking care of your family, you're trying to be the best mom and the best friend. Like, you're always putting other people first, because that's what we do. We serve, like, on a massive level. But who is taking care of you? And that's the problem, we're not. So I wanted to just write a blog about, come on, like, fill your cup up first. I've seen the worst of it. So look after yourself first, and actually, if you do that, you can be happier, you can thrive, you can perform better in your job if you take care of yourself. So that was kind of like the first post. And so it dropped on Instagram, and then I kind of started a Facebook page, and it really just took off from there. And then this Monday I was like, oh, do you know what, it's just been the most amazing year. And I'll take you through like some of the stuff that's happened this year. But I like wrote down all of the stuff that has happened between like that first post and what I've achieved right now. And if anyone follows me on Instagram, I don't know, but I was literally in tears. I was trying to say thank you, but I couldn't quite get the words out, because it honestly has been amazing. And I totally believe that, I don't know, I used to look at people that kind of stepped out of what was the norm, or did something exciting, or built their own business. And I know kind of like I've always had that want in me, but never thought it was possible for me. And I wanted to share my achievements that I've over the last year, because I want other people to know it's possible for them too. And that's why I started the Mindful Assistant Academy, because it is all about the mindset stuff that is really important. And whilst you can build your business as well, so you can really just build something that you're super passionate about, you hold all the choices, and you can build something that you love. So over the last year, I have monetized my business, and I tripled the monthly income of my full-time job now. And this week was a big week for me, because as well as that, because I was waiting for my mortgage offer to come through. I had to remortgage until I can leave my full position. And my mortgage offer has come through this week. So I'm pleased to say I will be transitioning out of my full-time job. My work know about that, and they're fully supportive of my business. So that is amazing that I am financially secure enough to now leave my full-time job and run my business. And have grown my income so much more than my full-time job as well. I've spoken over 10 events, including my own all-day ticketed event, which the lovely Tracy, who is here, came along to. So that was amazing to hold my own event. How many events do you all organise for somebody else? It's always somebody else's agenda, and it's like all my own content. I themed it. I got my own venue, thanks to Dan at Resorts World, and it was just like I totally had control of that. I held all the cards, and that is a lovely position to be in, and to see a group of women come in and feel one thing, and then get to the end and have like their own breakthroughs and outcomes, and to have ownership of that was really, really amazing. I got nominated for an award, which was really fantastic. We'll never know whether we win or not, but no, that time will come, right, Dan. But I just feel blessed to be nominated for a Lead by Example award. That was fantastic. I've been featured on numerous podcasts and in magazines. I flew to LA twice to learn from world-class business coaches. I've built a following of like over 3,000 across my social channels, and I managed to do this all whilst working alongside my 9-to-5 jobs, and I have secure contracts in place to keep that security in terms of my income. So it's been an amazing year, and so I kind of wanted to just talk through some of like the little milestones, and also like the feelings that I've had, or things that I've had to overcome in this last year to kind of get to this point. And I think for me, that when I started my blog, for example, and how you'd relate this to a business that you might want to start, is all about being honest and having passion and purpose behind what you're doing. So if there's something you feel really passionate about and that you want to bring into the world, that I think is really, really important, rather than trying to replicate somebody else's reason. Really knowing that what is the solution you want to solve for somebody, and why do you feel so passionate about it? And for me, it started off that I didn't want other assistants to burn out in the same way that I did, and I wanted to educate them on the symptoms of anxiety, and also how they can help to take control of their mindset. And I did that by sharing it through my blog, and you'll see how that why has kind of developed throughout my journey. So being really honest, showing all sides of myself. I didn't want to just show up on social media with my full face of makeup, although I've got my makeup on now. I totally have like my turban when I've just come out the shower, no makeup, or I'm really open about how I feel, and I think that's really important, that we are not just one-dimensional, and social media can we only see the good things perhaps, where I was really wanted to make sure that I showed that I still have bad days, that this is how I deal with them. So being honest, having passion and purpose behind what I do. Overcoming fear is a really big one. And you know, if there is something you feel passionate about and you've got that why, or you've got that idea, but then you're thinking, oh my God, and then all these thoughts kind of flood in, oh no, that isn't me, or why couldn't I do that? Like all these limiting beliefs that hold you back from doing what it is you want to do. And I got asked to do my first speaking event. I think it was like 4 weeks after I'd done my blog. And yeah, I've created presentations like a million times. And I've also sat in meeting rooms with a lot of people and had a voice. Like that is fine. And, you know, I stood up in meetings in that environment that I kind of felt safe in and spoke. But to put my name to something and stand in a room of 50 people, I think it was my first one, and speak from the heart, but also kind of just stand up. I was absolutely bricking it, I'm not gonna lie. But after I was like, oh my God, like what an accomplishment. And I've learned that like leaning into fear, getting out of my comfort zone is where I'm going to grow, and also it builds confidence. And there will always be that next like little level where you kind of need to push yourself and feel into it. But I totally believe that's where where the opportunities lie, is when you do that. And interestingly, fear and excitement are actually the same emotion. It's how you choose to perceive that. So that feeling, if you go, so when I'm standing in front of those people, I'm going to talk, oh my God, you think, oh my God, it's fear. But if you go, oh my God, it's just because I'm really excited, and choosing to reframe those emotions can really support you to overcome those fears in that situation. So overcoming fears, getting out of my comfort zone and building confidence. It then sort of developed in terms of so like my blog was up and running, I started to speak, and I started to make connections and building relationships, which is really important in helping you grow your business or the message that you want to share with the world. So, you know, amazing people like Dan that run associations and that can support you in sharing your message and getting to the right audiences, and just building relationships with the assistants that followed me as well. I've just made some amazing, incredible friends along the way that have been massively supportive. And you know, these relationships will keep you in good stead, like all the way through your business. Everybody needs to be supported, and you know, not only people supporting me, but I want to support others too, and that really helps in building business. Getting visible was, you know, being online. Obviously the businesses that I'm helping to build are in the online space, because that is where I have built my business over the last few years. So that will be something that I'm covering off in my academy, is how can you get the confidence to show up and speak about your message clearly and with clarity and what it is that you're trying to do. And then investing in myself. So as I said, like when I was really ill, I didn't even feel that I could invest in a really small amount of therapy. I just didn't even feel worthy of that at all. And then I think, so I started my blog from May, June, July. In 3 months later, I invested a lot of money in a coach, because I realised that actually I could really support other assistants to believe in themselves. And you know, even when I was ill, I've always known that I've been really great at my job. That's never been a doubt. It's just, and now I knew that I could help others see the power that they have within them and believe in themselves a bit more and perform in a better way. I've been an assistant for over 15 years. And it's like, I really want to help them to be better, but do the mindset stuff alongside so they believe it too. So in order for me to be a good mentor, be a good coach, I wanted to get the support to make sure that I was doing that in the best way that I could. So I invested in myself and in a coaching program. And then I was in this new environment where I was with all these different women who they were all at different levels, and they were building their businesses and I was building mine, but I was like totally down here and they were up there. And it was really hard at that point then to not get comparisonitis, like, oh my God, I'm really rubbish. What am I doing in this space? How am I going to create this success? And I think no matter what business or wherever you are, like, you're always going to get doubts. And when you compare yourself, like, am I good enough? Am I not? So there's a real mindset piece again in believing in your skill set, what you have to offer and why you are doing what you're doing, and really building that resilience to continue on your journey to build your business. You know, when you're in the online space and remembering that people are only sharing that good stuff, you have to be really resilient when you are bidding for new clients or having those calls about getting business and stuff. Some people are going to say no, not everyone is going to say yes. So in the academy, I'm kind of teaching people how you can take those knockbacks, how can you take the learnings, like, what was it? Nothing's ever a failure, it's always a learning. What can I do better next time? You know what, you shouldn't say yes to every single person that you have a call with about working with you as well, because what I want everybody to learn about this business that they're building is that they are trying to create something that they love. They want to work with the people that they only want to work with, and that they have that connection with, and it's really amazing. Because we've all had people that we can't stand working for, right? And they're an absolute pain in the ass. And we definitely don't want to. We hold the cards now. We have the choices, and we don't have to work with people like that anymore. So, you know, when you're having these calls, it's a right fit call. Are they right for you? Are you right for them? And not everything's a yes, and it might be a no from them. So how do you build up that resilience? And that's something that I also have had to learn about. Not worrying that they're going to say no, and just accepting that, okay, some are going to be no's and some are going to be yeses, and pulling yourself back from that. And then, so I was in this coaching program, and that was going really well. And when I got in this program, it soon became clear to me that doing the mentoring was just not the only part of running a business. That's the only bit I want to do. That's the bit I love. But there are so many different other elements excuse me, that it takes to running a business. So there are different systems in the online space than we know from corporate. You've got the whole social media aspect in terms of promoting yourself and being visible, the building relationships. You know, you've all found Zoom. Well, this is the way that I work within my business, like, well, 100% of the time, mostly when we're not on lockdown, unless I'm going to events and stuff like that. So there's different systems that you need to learn, and yeah, just different ways of working. And that, for me, I was like, oh my God, this is actually quite overwhelming. And so at that point, I was like, if I find this overwhelming, so many business owners must as well. And here came, like, when I kind of had like a pivot in my business, I was like, okay, now I know this is what I really, really want to do. So I love the assistance, and I've kind of been still posting on my Mindful Assistant page, and I've been still doing my speaking events and kind of sharing my message in that way. But in terms of monetizing my business, it was like, I know all the skill set that I've got that so many business owners in the online space haven't got. They really want to grow their businesses. They've created a certain amount of success, and they've got to this point and they can't grow anymore because their back office, their operations are an absolute, I was going to swear, how do you say shit show? Another way. Oh, sorry. So I help these business owners now that are like completely overwhelmed, and I go in and go, right, this is what you need to do. We're going to sort your schedule out. We're going to get you planning. This is Trello. This is how we're going to break it down. This is what system you need for this. This is what you need for that. And they pay great money for it because they're desperate. They want to scale. They're feeling overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, I can help business owners build a business without burning out. Hello, that's my purpose, that's my passion. Anybody that is really purpose driven, like they've got that ambition, that drive, like I can help them. I can help them get a business that they love and not have to work like 18 hours a day. So this is just like another lesson in terms of leaning into and seeing opportunities and not knowing that, okay, you might start out wanting to do a bit of VA, but actually you have an amazing skill set and you don't have to keep those yourself in a box. You can see the opportunity and craft an offer or a package through service and to make yourself income. And so since I've made that point, I've kind of almost established myself as an expert in the online space. So online service-based entrepreneurs that run like a coaching business or something like that. I have been doing a business manager role for some of them to give me that continuous income, that security blanket in order for me to transition, and then building my own one-to-one mentoring. And they pay really, really well, as I say, for some of those services. So it's another thing in terms of seeing opportunities, doing work you love with who you love, being agile, being able to see these opportunities, keeping your mindset strong along the way, and being able to juggle this alongside your day job for the start point. There'd be nobody that comes into my academy and I'm like, oh my God, just leave your job, that's it, gone. Like, I'm going to work through with them and how they can develop a business that they really love, and how they can toggle it and use their time alongside and see these opportunities. Because I've been working with the business owners in a one-to-one capacity, so doing that whole strategy piece that I've just spoke about, and I get to the end of it and they're saying, oh, can you stay in my business as a VA? I'm like, I can't do that for everybody. So it felt like there was a really good opportunity to not only support assistants in building their own business, but also to matchmake and onboard VAs with the business owners. So once the assistants come out of my academy, they will almost go on to what's called the hot list, amazing assistants with all of your own. Some want to go and do event management, specialise in events. Some want to work with entrepreneurs that are in the PR. Some want to work with, like, you've all got your own zone of genius, or those elements of your role that you really, really love, and then you build your business around that. Then I can lead, if I know that I've got a business owner that really wants someone with that particular skill set, I know that I've got a match. So I really wanted to partner the two things. And that's kind of where I stand today. So it's been quite the journey in terms of mindset, looking for opportunities, not letting anybody else get you off track, building something you really love that's got passion and purpose behind it, understanding all of the systems, making sure you can craft an offer and you're getting paid what you're worth, and how you launch your offer and your program and be really visible in that space where you want to be. And it's something that I feel really passionate about, because I think there's so many assistants that you've got these amazing skills that are not always used to their full potential. I also run sort of like an event management business alongside as well, because I saw an opportunity that there were business owners that wanted to create retreats or speaker events, and there was no one in the coaching industry that was supporting them with that. Like, retreats are a big thing in the coaching world. I was going to go to Bali in September, where somebody wanted me to create their whole event from start to finish. And I'm sure for most of you, like, that's just our bread and butter. Like, we know that's really easy for us to do and we really enjoy that and we can bring it to life. But that for them is really overwhelming. So that's another sort of strand to my business that I am developing. So I think that is like the 12-month journey that I've been on, and it has been amazing at times and it's been quite challenging at times, but what has been one of my biggest wins is that actually, in terms of like my mental health and everything that I've been juggling for the last year, because I have 2 children as well, I'm thriving. I feel as better than I ever had, and I truly believe that's because I'm doing something that I love and I feel really passionate about, and that's why I want to help others do that too. So I think no one wants to hear my voice anymore.
I think, Aimee, I think it's amazing because I think everybody has their own vulnerabilities, and I think to be able to talk about it openly and create a social media following around your own experience is great. And so many people put on such a facade on social media and they're not their true selves. And you know, what you guys do is such a it is such an intense job. You know, you are always running to try and do the very best that you can do for the people that you support. And you know, burnout is, we've probably all nearly been there or been there.
For sure.
To be able to transition that energy into something positive, I think is really great. And I'm like yourself. I set up the PA forum whilst doing a full-time job, and the committee members that work with me do all of the stuff that they do for the forum whilst doing a full-time job, and juggling everything is really challenging, but it's something that we're so passionate about, and I think that's why we love to do it. But to see how far you've come in such a short space of time, I think is just absolutely amazing. So you should be incredibly proud of yourself.
Oh, thank you. I totally am. Yeah, and I think that in terms of like juggling it with this daytime job, like I think that's one of the things I really feel I really want to support the assistants with, is not trying to do all the things, but identifying what the biggest needle mover is, what's the biggest, most important thing you can do on a night to move your business forward, rather than trying to do all the things and feeling that overwhelm of you have to, or I don't know what to do. So I really want to help them identify like what is that thing that they need to do or can do on a night, or how can I keep things moving in the day whilst I'm at work and stuff like that.
How has your boss reacted? How has the board reacted?
Oh my God. So I'm really lucky. They have been absolutely incredible. So they were really supportive with the time that I had to take off last year anyway, through through my depression. And then when I came back to work, and I'd started the blog and I did my first speaker event, they were totally celebrating me. Then obviously it really took off, and I was feeling, I kind of, at the beginning it was just like blogs and advice and support, and then when I started to monetize it, I was like, I felt a bit guilty, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to stay, and so I think I didn't go on LinkedIn as much, because I was like, I felt like out of respect that I shouldn't. So I was channeling most of being visible mostly on like Instagram and Facebook. But then towards the end of last year, they were like, come on, Aimee, how's it going? How's it really going? And I spoke to my CEO at the time, and they were just really proud and really supportive. And then I had a CEO switch, and the CFO that I worked for actually became the CEO, but we were really pally. So he before was actually like, Aimee, come on, like surely you're going to leave and do this full time. I can see that it totally lights you up. And I was like, yeah. So I think once I've remortgaged that, I will probably transition out. I said, but I'll be honest, I'm never going to just like leave. I'm on 3 months notice anyway, but I'm never just going to like drop it and go. I would totally like recruit for my role. I would transition. I would support the business because I really loved the work. So we kind of came to that agreement, and then he ended up being my CEO. And then we were like, oh shit, you're my boss now. So we had a bit of a combo when he became a boss, and we were like laughing about it really. But when he put me on furlough, and he was like, Aimee, just go on furlough, we're going to pay you, and concentrate on your business, which is amazing. They are really, really supportive.
I think
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, my boss was the same. I'm always worried about how much I do for the PA forum while I'm working. And
Yeah.
I was every 3 months I was calling meetings with her going, is everything okay? You are happy with what I'm doing? And she was like, yeah. She said, look, at the end of the day, Dan, we employed you because it's you. Like, so she said, we wanted you to come and work for us, which was really lovely. But I'm in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking my primary role is to support the business that I work for. And everything I do for the PA forum is extra. But actually, she keeps saying to me, it's not that way. She said, we love what you're doing for the PA forum. You're spreading the word and you're getting people, people like you, or people get to understand you and get to know you, then they will come to the place that we work. And I never looked at it that way. And I thought that was a really good way of thinking. It made me feel a lot better.
Yeah, you definitely have that guilt factor for sure, because it's definitely a challenge to kind of try when you are so excited about your business that you're building and feel really passionate about it. It's definitely kind of hard to keep that at a level. And so many people at my place of work like follow me and follow my journey, and they get like really excited for me. And yeah, it's been a challenge, but I'm really I also have worked with people that can't be visible at all whilst they're at work, and can still like supported them to build a business as well, like under the radar, if you like. I'm just gonna go to the chat down because there's
of course
questions that popped up. So Hannah, leaning towards coaching, something I'd love to do, but I don't know where to start in terms of qualifications. Yeah, so I haven't got any coaching skills or qualifications. However, I operate under a mentoring hat. I have 15 plus years experience as a mentor, so as an assistant. So everything that I am teaching is stuff that I have been through or I know. And in my coaching group, in my coaching mastermind group, where there are women, oh my God, like they have amazing coaching businesses. They don't have any qualifications as a coach. However, they've got lots and lots of years experience and are running successful businesses. You can, of course, get like coaching certificates. A lot of people, like, it depends what type of coaching you want to go into. So some are like more NLP, like mindset trained, but I know that everything that I'm teaching to my clients is all about what is the skill set and the experience that I've had throughout my business. So it depends sort of like what type of coaching that you would want to go into, but I operate my business under mentoring.
Can I just say as well, I hope you don't mind, but Lisbeth's on the call, if you don't mind me asking. Lisbeth delivered a Microsoft training session at our conference, but she also is employed full-time, but she does travel around the world or speaking at different events. And I hope, like, she did a fantastic session with us. And also, Hannah, you delivered a session at one of our conferences as well about becoming a VA. So I think, and going back to what you said, Aimee, when you get that excitement and that nervousness that's mixed together, the buzz that you get off it actually when you're delivering something is fantastic. It really gets the juices going, I think.
Yeah, I love it. Is Lisbeth going to pop on? She's on the call, isn't she? Like, how does she?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Hi,
Lisbeth.
Hello.
How are you? What do you, if you don't mind us asking you that question as well about skills and qualifications, kind of what, I know you do lots of different things for Microsoft. Is that things that you've learned along the way yourself, or is that?
Yes, it's actually things I've learned along the way. And I think that it was more predominant when I came back from maternity leave 7 years ago, and I was downgraded. And I ended up being the assistant to about 45 people, 5 managers, like five teams. And, being a new mom, all the emotions and being downgraded. And, I told myself, you know what, I'm not going to let that bring me down. I'm just going to find new ways of being productive, new ways of working, and new ways of just being a better EA. And this is, I was already using the Microsoft tools, but I wasn't using them at a proficient level. So this is where I started using OneNote and I've been using it now for the last 7 years. This is when I started, training myself on all the tools. I didn't have proper training. And, I'm based in Paris, and in Paris, being an EA is really looked down upon. It's like, the lower staff level. And so, I didn't let that bring me down. I told myself, you know what, I'm going to be the best EA they've ever seen in the company. And I really started to train myself, and I even acquired some certification on the Microsoft. And, and after that, I decided that, you know what, I went through this really, really tough time. I also went in a burnout also. And you know what, I didn't let that bring me down. I told myself, you know what, I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to be able to share my knowledge, because I acquired this knowledge and I wanted to be able to share it. And that's how I started, traveling around the world and training other executive assistants.
Amazing.
It's awesome, isn't it? And I think it just goes to show, if you really hone in on that skill set, you would have worked like so hard to be able to get skills to that place, that why should you not share that with everybody else? You can, and everybody, the feedback that you've had from all of the events that you do has been fantastic, because people have really taken away some great skills from that as well. So it's really nice to kind of hear that you have been through quite a similar thing to Aimee as well. It's such a shame that that's the way in Paris that they do look at that job, because
and I was I've been so impressed when I attend the EA conferences in the UK. I've been so impressed by everything that it's organized for the the PAs, EAs, virtual assistant. In Paris, we don't have that much events just like that. We probably have like 1 or 2 a year, but even getting like funding for my training from my previous manager at my previous company, it was so hard. It was only when I started training his team using, like, for example, OneNote and Outlook more productively, when he saw the change in them, and when they started talking about all the trainings that I had done for them, that's when he started saying, oh, you know what, well, maybe I can fund some of your trainings if you want. But it was really tough. It was really, really tough, and it's still tough. So I admire everything that you do, and then everything that you inviting me last October. I had such a fun time. It was so amazing. So thank you again.
No, you're very welcome. It's so lovely to see you and with us today. So thank you so much, Lisbeth.
Welcome.
So I think
thank you so much, Aimee, for sharing your story. It's not easy being vulnerable, and especially in front of people. And I love that you share your story with us. It was really inspiring.
No problem. Thanks, Lisbeth.
Oh, that's lovely. We've got some other questions, I think, in the chat box as well, Aimee.
Okay, so if I try to go on, find I was running on empty. This moment I've decided to invest in myself and my future. Absolutely. And for so many people get to the low point before they have to get to make that change. And it's like, trying to get that like awareness of how you're feeling and the change that you want to make before you burn yourself out, I think is important. You don't have to break yourself before you have to build yourself back up.
I just think in business, the PA role is so central, and especially if, like you said before, you get to know a little bit of every part of the business, because you're like the keystone of communication for your boss or your senior management team. But when that happens, you're also the person that everyone goes to, because you know a little bit more than everybody else about the overall company and what it does, and the who to go to and the quick routes. And I think that's when you're just kind of, you're so, in a way, because you're good, they, especially as businesses have started to, make cuts, you may have worked for one exec and then they'll go, well, we'll just add another one, we'll just 2 execs, or you're just going to work for the senior management board. And I think it's so easy for companies to do that, and that's when you start feeling that you're trying to do that role you did for one person suddenly for 3 people, and you have your own standards, and that's when you realise you're not actually accomplishing as much as you used to, because you're spreading yourself so thin.
So you're doing quantity over quality.
I was just running around like a headless chicken, trying to be everything. but for too many people.
Yeah.
And then it was when I got home I realised, because, you know, I felt I should be wearing a mommy badge at times, because, you know, you get home, you've had that day working for all those people, you're absolutely empty, and then you think, well, this is the quality, this is when it should count, when I come home.
Yeah.
And there's nothing left. So that's when I just thought, I'm going to draw a line under this now.
And
so do you work for yourself now, Yvonne?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Yvonne was actually Yvonne was my biggest customer at Resorts World, and she used to come in and see me, and I used to the amount of events that she did and the amount of people that she supported, and she used to come in and sit with me, and I could just see how busy she was. And when she told me that she was taking a step to launch her own VA company, I was so happy for her, because I thought that was a great opportunity for her to take some time back and to do that move for yourself. So congratulations to you, Yvonne.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that feeling well. When I first started at the works, I'd gone for, you know, I was working for like 9 people or whatever, and I was trying to do, you know, when you work someone new as well, you kind of want to prove yourself, like, this is my level of service, like, I'm really great.
Yeah.
But it's just too much, and I had to put some boundaries in place and actually have those conversations of, this is too much. And I know now about, in terms of like what my boundaries are and how I can push back and go. And even in my own business, it's so easy, because it, you know, I do get a lot of clients, thank goodness, but also I have to kind of put that thing as like, what is the lifestyle actually I wanted to build for myself right now? Because I could take everybody on and work until silly o'clock at night, but have to retain the boundaries about the lifestyle that I want. So well done for you for making the change.
Thank you.
Aimee, can I just ask a quick question? First of all, huge congratulations on...
hey.
Hi, sweetheart. Huge congratulations on the launch of your new 8-week programme. That's just brilliant. So well done you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I attended that one-day event, which was fabulous, with you up at Resorts World, Dan, so that was brilliant. What a fabulous room we had there as well. It was lovely. I'd never been in there before. What room were we in? It was fab, wasn't it?
The apartment, yeah.
Oh,
right.
It was lovely, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, what I wanted to ask you, you know, your 8-week program, is that very much based on people that do want to set up by themselves, or will it very much encompass all sorts of sort of mindfulness and taking care of yourself? And is it an equal mix, or?
It is more based on about building a business for yourself. So, and whatever business that is, in terms of, is it virtual assistant, business manager, or if you wanted to sort of do something similar to that I have in terms of mentoring business owners, in terms of like using the skill set that you've got as an assistant, or if you wanted to go into event management, like whatever that type of business that it is. So the mastering the mindset part is to support them in building confidence and the resilience and connecting to their purpose and their passion, and how they can keep that surrounding like all the work that they're doing to build their business. Because as I said, it can be quite challenging mentally to keep yourself locked into your goals and your dreams without being pulled off by track, especially like people trying to say, oh, you can't, or what you're doing, or like all this kind of stuff that you get. So that's why I thought mindset was a really important piece to do. So it really takes you through like everything I spoke about, like what are your strengths, what type of business do you want to build, who are your ideal client, where can you find them, how can you craft your offer, get paid your worth, really build out your business strategy, look at the systems. I think there was a question actually from Stacey on systems. So yes, we go through the different systems that and you are needed to learn to run your business, and the systems that you may need to support that particular niche with. And then like sales messaging and content creation, and how you can launch your business with confidence. So it's all about building your business, but the mindset is alongside that. I do one-to-one mentoring, which is strictly all about sort of mindset and performance as a PA, and, you know, looking after yourself in that role and enabling you to push back and have challenging conversations and grow and be confident in that type of thing.
That's great. So your new program, will all of these new VAs and people that are wanting to set up a business, then that would really help them. So yeah, that'll be brilliant. Well done.
Thanks so much. So lovely to see you, Stacey.
No, I think we've got. I think Stacey just asked as well, Aimee. Security of data must be high on radar as well.
Yeah, so there's certain, obviously there's like GDPR and stuff that you have to abide by, but there's systems in terms of retaining passwords that we use in the online space to make it really, really simple for that type of thing. And we predominantly use Google in the online space. So I used Outlook predominantly, and now I'm all Google Drive and Gmail, which isn't there. It depends what your clients use, but that kind of really works for me. When you're in business for yourself, you have to be so many things, doing the role plus marketing and sales. Absolutely, Avril. That was kind of what I realized sort of early on. You know, I couldn't just go and do a mentoring business. I couldn't just be the mentor and do that really part that absolutely fills me up. I had to wear all the hats and do all the things if I wanted a successful business. So yes, be visible, content creation, invoicing, admin, and that's why I've sort of learned certain systems that work hard for me, so I can spend less time being an employee in my own business and more being the business owner and stuff that I love. So totally cover that all off in the program as well.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much, Aimee. Has anyone else got any
questions?
questions?
My pleasure.
Anyone got any other questions for Aimee? No, I think it's, like I say, it's been great. I think the range of things that you do to either support, you've got the experience of being an executive assistant and obviously helping with the mindfulness and, you know, the coaching side of things, I think is great. Obviously, for those of you that are still working in those full-time roles, and then obviously all the things that you've built, you know, the spikes that kind of come off that as well, and all the different parts of the business that you put together has been really good. So thank you so much, Aimee. I think Avril wants to have a one-to-one with you, which is great as well. So
I will drop you a note, Avril, after, because I think we've got email addresses, haven't we, Dan? So absolutely. I'll be in touch.
Avril is actually part of the VA network as well. So they.
Oh, fab.
Yeah.
Avril.
So yeah,
brilliant.
I'm sure she'd love to be able to talk to you as well. But just wanted to say congratulations, Aimee, because I think you're a star. It's lovely that you've been so open and honest with us, and thank you so much.
I feel so emotional this week.
Oh, for sure. But I just wanted, before we go, there's just a few things, just a few short things I just wanted to let you know. So if you haven't already, and you can complete the PA Forum survey, I would be incredibly grateful. I will send that out, the link to you in an email after this. And I'll also send you Aimee's details, so you've got those as well, Aimee, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Next week, on Wednesday, we've got the founder of the National VA Awards and the National VA Conference, John Palmer, joining us for a VA Forum Zoom call on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. So if you want to join us for that, please feel free. Thursday, we've got Heather Baker, who's quite a prolific speaker in the PA world. She's talking about communicating with impact during COVID-19. We've already had about 30 people book onto that session, so that's been quite popular. So if you want to join us, let us know. I am also looking, not this week, but the week after, I wanted to try and host a panel discussion of, it's all about returning to work during, after after the COVID-19. So I know some PAs are still working at the moment and are implementing systems, or have been given all of the guidelines and said, right, we need to run this. And it's kind of a minefield of where do I start? So if you know anyone that's working at the moment and is going through or have already had the details of what they need to do to get the office back up and running potentially, I wanted to try and host a panel discussion between 3 of those, ideally from different sectors. So if you know anyone that's interested, please let me know.
I know someone who's doing a lot of project management in that area, Dan, so I'll drop a note.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We've also had, and I'll send it round, I know it's a difficult time at the moment, and I know when people get a lot of requests, but our chosen charity for Birmingham, the Sir Giles Mason Trust, which is a care home supporting elderly care through to light care all the way through to day-to-day care. They don't get any corporate support. They've got no corporates that support them. We are the only place that that provides for them charitable donations in terms of cash. And they are losing £5,000 a day at the moment and have basically launched an urgent appeal. So I've got a letter from them, which I'd like to send to you all. And if you know anyone that can help at all, we would be incredibly grateful. Yes, I think that's it from me. So just wanted to say thank you to Aimee. Thank you all so much for joining and for your contribution. Really appreciated. Congratulations to you, Aimee.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week. Everybody, if you need me, I'm here. Just give me a shout. All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.